How's it going, guys? My name is Sam.
I'm Megan.
And today we're going to be talking about mammals and the adaptations that they make to live in their homes.
So first we're going to be talking about ecosystems. So ecosystems is an area where all different living things, including plants, animals, and even little insects, come together to work as a community and form almost a bubble of life. So ecosystems come in all different shapes and sizes. Examples of ecosystems could be the Amazon rainforest, the desert, and I'm actually standing in front of one right now called a marsh. So a marsh is a very grassy, low-lying wetland, and it's very diverse, one of the most diverse ecosystems in the world. Mammals play a very important role in ecosystems, including the food chain. They are part of the food chain. If one puzzle piece of the food chain wasn't there, the puzzle wouldn't be complete. So ecosystems include habitats, and Sam, what is a habitat?
A habitat is like the natural home for an animal. And for a habitat to exist, it needs 4 characteristics. It needs space, shelter, food, and water.
Okay, so then we're going to be introducing the 4 different mammals we're going to be talking about today. And although they're all different, they all play a very important role. So first we have the coyote. And as you can see, its fur is very thick. This is an adaptation to stay warm in the winters of Canada. An adaptation is changes living things make in their ecosystem, in their habitat, to adjust to new changes. And then we have the raccoon, very distinct tail, very distinct coat of fur. We also have the eastern cottontail. And we also have the American beaver. And did you know American beavers actually have 2 layers of skin and fur, and very oily fur to stay warm in the cold waters underneath?
First of all, we have the coyote skull here. And as you can see in the skull, it's got very sharp, pointy teeth, and those are called canine teeth. And those teeth are very important because they help the coyote to be able to rip through the muscle and tissue and bones of the animal that they're capturing. We have the raccoon skull, and as you can see, the raccoon skull has incisor teeth, which are not quite as sharp and pointy as the canines, and has molars, which it uses for eating anything that it finds. They're not very picky eaters. They are called omnivores, so they eat both meat and plants. And then if you look at the beaver's got 2 very distinct set of teeth on the front, and those are incisor teeth. And as you can see, they have a very distinct color to them, and that is because of the high iron content in the teeth, which they use those teeth to mulch wood from trees that they eat. And in the back, they also have molars for mulching the foods that they eat for the plants and to be able to digest them properly. And then lastly, we have the skull from the eastern cottontail, and as you can see, it only has molars, and that is because it is a herbivore and it does not eat any meat. And so all it needs to do is be able to rip off the plants.
Okay. So then next we're going to be talking about the scat of the animals. You can tell a lot of things about the different kinds of scats of animals. So with herbivores, they're usually smaller and more circular, like the rabbit, as you can see. And then also like the beaver. And then with carnivores, they're larger usually and more log-like, like the coyote. Okay, so with different kinds of scat, you can tell how healthy the animal is, what kind of animal is, what they're eating, and what to protect more in the habitats they're living in.
So if you see first at the coyote footprints, the paws, they have claws on them, which help the coyote for hunting and for grabbing the prey that it catches. And those are very important because the coyote cannot just run up to an animal and grab it in its mouth all the time. It needs to be able to grab it and hold it while it eats it. And if you see, they've got pads, which are the soft bottom part of the foot, compared to hooves, which would be on horses, which are the solid outer part of the foot. Now, if you look at the raccoon, you can see it's got very distinct claws on it, and that's because raccoons are very good climbers, and they climb up trees whenever they're trying to escape their predators, which you'll see very often. If you ever see a raccoon in your backyard and you chase it, it will most likely go up a tree. Now, you can see a big adaptation on the beaver foot, and that's because it's webbed. It's adapted to its life in the water, and it uses that and its rudder-like tail to be able to swim and maneuver in the water very well. And then the rabbit foot is very thin and long, and that's because rabbits need to have very powerful long strides when they're escaping their predators, and the foot gives them extra grip to be able to zigzag from left to right to be able to escape the predators when they can't outrun the speed. The shape of the foot also helps in winter when the cottontail is on snow. It acts like a snowshoe and it helps them to stay above the snow. So in conclusion, mammals play a very big role in our ecosystems because of how they affect the food chain and all the adaptations that they made to live in these the habitats that they live in.
So today we learned about ecosystems, habitats, adaptation, and the different kinds of animals concerning what they eat: omnivores, herbivores, and carnivores. So at the end of this video, you guys are going to get a sheet, and I want you to fill out as many different animals you can think of that would only eat meat and animals, or sorry, eat meat and plants, or just plants.